Shout out to Swiss Sports Network with all the latest news on the Bears. Keep doing your thing.
I'm turned. Just know I'm coming with that energy. I'm really like that.
I kind of feel like I'm, made for this. I'm built for this. So
What up, guys? Swift here, covering everything Chicago Bears. I have some bits of news from this past week that I'm going to cover, as well as update you on what's coming up. I should have my all 22 breakdown on N'Keal Harry done tonight. We'll also be live with Coach T around 1 p.m. Eastern Time today. Be sure to check that out. If you missed the trade details, we traded a 2024 seventh round pick for wide receiver N'Keal Harry. I speculated David Moore might be cut, but the rookie long snapper Antonio Ortiz was actually the guy who got released. This means Patrick Scales should be here snapping in Chicago another season. I liked Ortiz's potential, but this might be a good idea, considering we have a rookie punter and most likely going to have a rookie placeholder as well. Having a consistent guy to snap the ball to them this year is pretty important. You can't go with young guys everywhere, and Scales has been a really good long snapper here in Chicago, so it is good to see him back. ESPN ranked David Montgomery as the 16th running back in the NFL. It's actually higher than he ranked last year, but still a bit disrespectful to Monty. Monty is set to have a big season if he can stay healthy. We should be running the ball a lot this year, and he is primed to take advantage of an upgraded offensive line and a commitment to the run game. Look for Monty to finish much higher than 16th this season. Scott Pioli had some interesting takes on Ryan Poles. He hired Ryan Poles as a personnel entry-level guy and then promoted him to college scouting director after just 1 year. He said he has the kind of attention to detail, organizational skills, and ability to communicate with all scouts at such a young age and with so little experience was extraordinary. Ryan Poles checks all the boxes at GM for me. He doesn't have the ego, he is a great communicator, and he believes in building the roster from the ground up. He has a long-term approach focused on building through the draft and providing depth all over the roster. The biggest equation of Ryan Poles' plan is Justin Fields becoming a star. The misconception comes from the media thinking that in order for a young quarterback to succeed, that he has to have all the weapons in the world. This is simply not true. Quarterbacks show the most improvement from year 1 to year 2, regardless of what the team does around them. It's good to see Ryan Poles' efforts aren't going unrecognized. Now, I know the pessimists out there say he hasn't done anything yet. Well, you are right, he still has a lot to prove, but you cannot knock what he's done so far. People want to say all he has done is tear down the roster and not help Justin Fields. He brought in a coaching staff that seems to be a great fit. He brought in a ton of low-risk, high-reward free agents, and then he added a ton of young talent in the draft without even having a first-round pick. Also, he gave us tons of flexibility moving forward. It's up to Ryan Poles to actually capitalize on that flexibility, though. I can't predict the future. So far, we are heading in the right direction. If and when Poles makes a move that I really dislike, I will break it down and tell you why. I do not always think every move is the right move. I hated a lot of Ryan Pace's moves. I wanted Deshaun Watson really bad. I hated that we traded up to take Mitch Trubisky. I still got labeled as a truther because I gave the kid a chance, but I hated that move. I hated the trade for Nick Foles too. Why trade a 4th round pick for Nick Foles when you have Mitch Trubisky? And if you want another quarterback like that, Andy Dalton was a free agent and signed for $3 million that year. So we could have signed Andy Dalton a year before and saved the 4th round pick that we traded for Nick Foles. Instead, Pace decided that Nick Foles was the answer instead of Andy Dalton. And then a year later, they sign Andy Dalton to come in and be the starter over the guy that they traded a 4th round pick for the year before. None of it made sense to me, and I hated it all. I will say out of Poles' moves, I have two minor gripes so far. My first being, if you liked Larry Ogunjobi enough to offer him all that money on day one of free agency, why not give him a chance to prove his health on a one-year deal? I realize we brought in Justin Jones, but I still think Larry O would have been a nice fit. Number two being the one that got away, Ryan Bates, the right guard from Buffalo. He was a restricted free agent we made an offer to. I think if Poles liked him enough to make the offer, he should have thrown a little bit more money his way to make sure Buffalo wouldn't match. I liked Ryan Bates, and I did an all-22 breakdown on him. However, I can't say with certainty that he's even better than a guy like Zachary Thomas. So it's not like we missed out on a Pro Bowler. He was just a guy who probably would have came in and started for us at right guard. Me, Poles is doing a killer job so far, but I will be on him when he makes a move I disagree with. Stay tuned, guys. Much more coming before the season starts. Watch out for my Nikhil Harry all 22 breakdown tonight. And until next time, bear down.